Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast.
I am your host, Fernando Leon, and I'm joined by my co-host, Gregory Morabietz. And today's topic, it's give you guys a little preview, little sneak peek of the next Expert Corner show. And that title of the future show is 5 Tips to a Successful Email Marketing Campaign. So we're just going to quickly go over these 5 tips. We're not going to go into too much depth, but we're going to discuss it and really we're going to do some broad strokes here. All right, so let's start off with the agenda and what is on what's on this show for today. Obviously, we have an introduction. Why segment? The subject, tidbit of value, the CTA, the MAO, some acronyms I just made up, but we'll explain them as we dive into this podcast. And we'll have we always have a conclusion and then just a quick plug on the MSP Corner. All right, so let's get into the introduction. Email marketing can be a highly effective strategy for MSPs. It's a cost effective solution to reach potential clients. It allows you to nurture leads, engage with your audience, right? And what the ultimate goal is to convert them into customers. However, to run a successful email marketing campaign, MSPs, IT service firms, VARs, whatever IT service firm you want to call yourself, you need to have a strategic approach. There's just no way around it. You just can't just hit start and start sending messages or start spamming people. It's not going to work. So here are the top 5 things, tips, whatever you want to call it, MSP should do to ensure their email marketing campaigns produce strong results. So, what's first up on the list is, why do you need to segment? Well, audience segmentation is critical to delivering the right message to the right people because sending generic messages or emails to, let's say, an entire list, you just bundle everybody in, is not going to work. MSPs need to categorize their audience based on several factors: industry, company size, location. Uh, are you targeting a C or VP level executive? Level of engagement. Is this co-managed or are you giving it selling them the entire enchilada, right? And you got to consider which services you want to educate your audience on. So it's important that you segment your list, because the message to a medical office is going to be very different than a message to a legal office, because they have different initiatives, they have different goals, they have different environments, right? So you definitely need to create a segmented list that allows you to get the right information in front of the right executive. All right, the subject, and I call it the hook, right? Because that's the very first thing they're going to see. A hook should never ever exceed 7 words, right? That's You want to keep it short, you want to keep it sweet, but the subject line is where you're going to get attention, especially if it's, well, Gregory calls them thirst traps, right? If you can create a thirst trap in that subject line, you are going to convert a lot of these reader, these potential clients. So, but we're going to go over some examples during our expert corner call. I don't want to go too deep into this, but the subject line, you can't exceed more than 7 words. I've read some articles where there's recommendations on which days to send them and which time to send them, but I don't really pay too much attention to that. I think I probably should. I don't know, Greg. What? How do you feel about that? Do you feel there's certain days people open up their emails more? Are they more likely to open their emails on
It's
Monday
so
morning?
hard to pick there's so much coming in. I don't really know if it matters.
Yeah, I agree. I just think people are producing documentation out there just so they generate some interest, right? They want to sound credible, they want to sound interesting. It's like, oh, 50% of emails will be open on Thursdays instead of Mondays. I really, anybody who has, if decision makers are opening emails every day. That's just how I'm a decision maker. I open every day. I don't open less emails on Fridays. Let's just say that it's equal across the board for me. And I think you're the same way. Would you say? Would you
Uh,
agree?
I I I look for certain things in particular. I don't open everything. I don't hardly open anything.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I open some things, but it's very, very rare.
yeah. I even open up spam. I look at every email and I look at them and I go, boy, you wrote me a novel and you expect me to read a novel, and it's just not a good thing. I was on a sales call today. Somebody was trying to sell me on their services, and somebody recommended that we speak with them, and I said, oh sure, I'll talk to them. I just wanted to hear them out. It took him 30 minutes to explain his business model to me. 30 minutes. I went to his website. I needed a microscope to read the content. I was like, what is going
Well, and
on?
what did he sell? I bet you could say what he sells in less than a couple seconds, probably.
I well, he was just awful at what he was presenting. And I'm getting away from what I'm what we're talking about today, but It's really more on the next slide that or the next topic I'm discussing, which is tidbit of value. When you send an email, because we were talking about opening emails and the pitch, you gotta capture attention, and that subject line is going to be a huge help on getting them on the hook. And then your next opportunity is the body of the email. And this is what I say that the next topic is tidbit of value of you're going to sell value or pitch value in less than 2 3 sentences. That's it, and that's what I mean by a tidbit of value. Because you do not want to write a novel, you don't want to write paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of what you do, right? People are so they're just so caught up with, oh, look at how great I am. Look at what I do. We've been in business for 2 decades. We do this, we do that. It's like you're not solving my problem. And when you write that much information, it's painful to even look at. I won't even read it. I'll read the first sentence. And if there's no value in the first sentence, I will delete it. And that was the problem with the gentleman today. He was trying to sell, to be honest with you, I don't even know what he was selling. It was very painful. The worst sales guy I have ever spoke to. It was just awful. I don't. It was just very painful because if you cannot explain in less than 10 seconds the value you have to offer, get out of there. Get out. Do not even attempt to sell.
I know 10 seconds. 10 seconds is really short. I think if within a minute you can't describe your value, then you can go.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. If you can't get them engaged within 10 seconds, you're going to have a hard time, right? Because that those 10 seconds is going to give you another 50 seconds or another 30 seconds, and that will tell them you are in the market for their services, so you're interested. So yeah, I asked him to dumb it down. I go, dumb it down as much as you can. And he tried, and it was just he failed. But anyways, let's
Well, what
get
could
back
be
to
so complicated that would take that much time? What was he selling?
he wanted us to recommend him into opportunities that of companies that are growing. If they were going to hire 50 people, they were going to need financing, or they were going to let's okay here's a good example, because he did give me a great example. He's like, do you have any he asked me a good question. He goes, do you have any clients that are growing? I go, yes, we have a client that is probably going to hire 50 people next in 2025. And he goes, that's great. He's like, look, if they're in a specific state, we can go to state officials and say, look, this company is going to hire 50 to 100 people in the next year, and it's great if you could reduce their tax bracket or whatever. They do something with the government so they get credit or tax breaks. He sounds like he's a CPA, but I can't even tell you that because his website was crap. I and when I say I need a microscope, I'm telling you, the print was like a 6. You know, when you select the font size, the font size was like sorry, a 6 is generous. Was like a 3. That was the font size. It was awful. I'm like,
Yeah, it's hard to
dude,
be in business for companies that don't have a clear product. That doesn't sound like that's a clear product. It's tax savings.
yeah,
That's not like something I would
he's
sign up for.
he's a smart guy. I mean, he's a very smart guy. He just doesn't know how to sell his business. It was painful. 30 minutes. Took him 30 minutes. I finally said, "Oh, okay. If that's what you do, I got a client that's going to be hiring 50 plus people in the next year." And he's like, "Oh, and this is what we could do." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." you should ask me some questions before you dive into this thing, right? But
Wow.
I need to practice my patience, so it was something that I needed to do. I'm always practicing my patience, and I needed to do that. All right, the next topic, this is another tip that you guys need to consider is the CTA, the call to action. What is it? Now, your audience needs direction. When you send an email, that you need to give them direction. You're going to give them information. What do you want them to do at the end of this email? Do you want them to download a document? And there's two other things that they could do. And we're going to discuss them on the expert corner. And you're going to have to tune in to get those two more. What are those two other options? Because it's definitely something you need to include in your email. And if you get emails from me, you might know what that second and third tip is. So um, next up is the metrics is to monitor, analyze, and optimize. All right, this is the last tip. You need to confirm your email platform provides you with metrics that help you optimize your campaigns. Because if you're sending out hundreds of emails about security and then hundreds of emails about backup, and 50% of security emails get open and 1% of backup emails get opened, guess what? Focus more on security, because that's where most of your audience is that's their biggest challenges is security. All right, so I'm going to conclude with, I mean, in order to achieve success with email marketing, MSPs, VARs, whatever your flavor of IT service firm is, you must take a strategic and data driven approach. There's just no way around it. And you just can't upload a list and start sending emails. You just can't. You got to put a lot more thought into your approach, into your messaging. And by segmenting your audience, crafting up compelling subject lines, offering valuable content, using clear call to actions, and monitoring performance, you can create effective email marketing campaigns. That's going to obviously drive engagement, will eventually generate leads, and you want to convert those leads into clients. Now, email marketing, when done correctly, can be a powerful tool for growing your MSP business. And the ultimate goal is to position yourself as an industry leader. And we're also going to discuss a really powerful tool during the expert corner that is so cost effective that will get you in front of um, executives that could be the decision makers. I know it's very challenging on determining who the decision maker is, but you got to always start at the top, because if a CEO is in meetings with the VP of IT and he gets the message about reducing IT costs or improving security, he's going to forward it to the VP of IT, and they'll eventually get in touch with you. So you definitely, well, this one tool that we're talking about, you don't need to buy a list. You don't need to invest big bucks. Let's just say it's very cost effective. Your all in is going to be less than $200 for you to send out automated messages to executives in a specific industry, specific size of organization, geography, specific executives, and you're going to want to target a specific industry. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to be here to help you guys. I will help a handful of you out at no cost. So we want to see you guys do well. So that's what we developed the MSP Corner for. And then that's my last plug is the MSP Corner. What are we all about? Well, we're on a mission to delivering valuable content to our members. And as founders of an MSP, we know the struggles many of you go through, and the platform we're developing will be designed to help guide you through these challenges, through these pain points. So we want to offer frameworks that solve the marketing and selling challenges, because we know a lot of you are terrible at selling. And it's okay to admit it. It's okay to say, I suck. I sucked. Right. And it's just you have to embrace your the reality of it, because it will help you overcome a lot of these challenges. Now, we're also lining up lots of resources like this email marketing platform we have. We're going to have it in place so you guys can set up outbound campaigns if you need an SEO expert, PPC expert, but much, much more. We're going to have so many resources for you guys that you won't have to be relying on others to point you to in a specific direction, because we're going to have lots of resources for you. Greg, anything you want to add?
No, that's about it. That sounds good.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on the mspcorner.com. Please share our link with the CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. And Greg, one last question. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
When do you think we'll be going live with the MSP Corner site?
By the end of the month.
Awesome. All right, guys, you heard it here first. By the end of the month, we'll have the MSP Corner up and going. All right, thanks again for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.